How's it going, guys? Welcome to the ALC podcast. I'm your host, Casey, and I'm joined today with my co-host, Reda. How are you, Reda?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm pretty good, So, today is going to be a special episode. We're having a special guest today.
Should go more about
But first, let's introduce all the people here.
Adam,
Hey guys.
Sakina,
Hi.
Mehdi,
Hey.
Shema,
Hi.
our special guest Fadwa,
Hello.
and Hassan.
Hi guys.
Today's episode is going to consist of 4 segments. The opinion piece, and our interview on storytelling with Fadwa, and Darija 101, and finally the game. Let's start with the opinion piece.
Who's the subject
Yeah.
of opinion piece?
I guess it's Mehdi.
I am, yeah. Hello everyone, welcome to the opinion piece segments. And the segment of today is the perfect class. So guys, for me, I have never had a perfect class. Personally, I guess because I'm not a good student. I'm bad student. Anyway, yeah, so who wants to talk about the perfect class?
So
What
since
is
you, but if you haven't had a perfect class, what is the perfect class for you as a student? What would it be?
I don't know, it should have more activities, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because just a normal class is too boring for me. So if it has some activities, I don't know, I am a competitive guy, so I like to compete.
Competition.
Yeah, and I kind of like the things that you guys are doing here at the ALC. So you are bringing a new method of teaching. It's not about just teaching and learning English. It's also about culture and exchanging culture and everything. Yeah, so I think it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, I do agree with you, Mehdi, because I studied here at ALC and I really like the approaches and methods used in here because the teacher is not just a traditional teacher or just an explainer, just gets there and explain everything and do exercise and then you have to learn. But we do these games and activities which improve our vocabulary and which makes it easier to learn. So I would appreciate it if other teachers do the same thing outside ALC.
All right. Anyone else? Your perfect class? What would?
Yeah, I think the perfect class in like the teacher should know how to communicate with his students or her students, and like show them that he care about them, and he's happy every time he see them. Not just like show them he's just teaching.
Ah, okay. So you would say maybe being more personal, like getting to know your teacher,
Yeah,
will help.
Yeah, and get to know your students. Like if they're weak in something, ask them. Yeah, just like that.
Okay.
What
all
about you, Casey? Since you are the good student.
No. Well, I have something to say.
I can assure you that's not the case. You can ask anyone.
Uh-huh.
You can ask Sakina.
Yeah, I had him 2 times actually as a student. Yeah, it's quiet.
Okay.
He wasn't a good student?
No, he was just the kind of student that won't volunteer information unless you ask them, but doesn't say I don't know. He always had an answer for something too, which was cool, but he was quiet.
And Casey, was Sakina a good teacher?
Of course, yes.
Yeah, I had him for beginning 3, I feel like, a long time ago, and then intro 4, so.
Okay.
I think it was my second year there. I think I started with beginning 2. With, I don't know, Evelyn.
Oh, yeah.
Then I had class with you the next thing. At first, when I started school here, studying English here, I didn't want to come here. My parents forced me.
Yeah, this is usually the case at the low.
No, I forced my parents to let me enter here.
Oh, okay. All right, anyone else? Perfect class?
Maybe also students should work hard and make an effort, because that will encourage the teacher to work with them and be happy working with them if they show that they're making an effort and enjoying their class.
Yeah, so what about our new guest?
Yeah, I was thinking about a professor in university who used to assign us to go outside of the faculty and do some activities like visiting art exhibition or going to the theaters, and it was really exciting, and we learned a lot of things that were related to the subject that we studied. So I think that this is one good idea for changing the routine of the class.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it's kind of, to be fair to the teachers, it's kind of also hard for the teacher. If he becomes more friendly for the teacher, then he'll lose that respect for the teacher. Kind of forget what I mean.
So you think a teacher who is friendly is less respected?
Yeah, too friendly, I guess.
Too friendly?
I think not necessarily. I think this is the challenge of each teacher. He has to be, he has to be friendly. He has to be more communicative, and at the same time, he has to control his class. I think this is the challenge of each teacher. Anyway, thank you guys.
But
This
wait.
Yeah, he just
One
like
more,
last
one-
word.
but- So for you, the teacher, what's
Right,
the
this
the perfect class as for you?
Yeah, our teachers.
Yeah, I want to go and say, I really like, Shema, what you said about the students sort of meeting you sort of halfway and making some of the effort as well, because as a teacher, I get motivated a lot by my students. So sometimes it's the curriculum and what we're studying, but most often than not, it's the students and their willingness to want to learn. It really kind of inspires me too. And with some of my classes, I just plan the lesson based off of the class as a whole and how they are, and what they would like and what they wouldn't like. So for me, a perfect class would just be the students being really interested in it, the students being open to doing things that maybe they're not used to doing, like maybe going outside or sitting or doing an activity around the school, and just being easygoing and not so strict and stiff. And if I say let's skip this, they're like, okay, it's fine, we'll skip it. So this is it for me, I guess.
What about you, Adam?
Yeah, I agree with most of what she said. I think as long as the students are, open-minded and interested in stuff, then
It makes it easier.
things go,
Yeah.
pretty well. Whereas, if you have, depending on, and sometimes it depends on what you're teaching too. To be honest, sometimes it's hard to make.
Yeah. Students interested.
Sometimes you get material and stuff in the book or whatever that you have to cover for some reason, and it's just not
The one
interesting. But that's where having students kind of that are a little bit more open.
They
and
can be
willing to
creative.
just, where it helps. Yeah.
The one thing in every single level that I teach, and I'm sure it's the same, is there's always a unit on technology. Technology, modern technology, internet, and I just find it so tired, and I really, really hate the technology unit, because it's just you can have a debate, or new modern gadgets, it's just, where is this gonna go? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, guys, thank you guys. That was my time, and I guess back to you, Casey.
Yeah. So for our next segment, we have a special segment, which is the interview and storytelling that's gonna be facilitated with Hisna and Shema.
Okay, thank you, Casey. So today our storytelling segment is going to be very special because we have this beautiful lady and well known in the faculty. So if you are an English student at the University of Muhammad I, you have to know Fadwa. You have to know Fadwa. Who doesn't? So, Fadwa, welcome. Thank you. We are so happy to have you.
Me too. I'm so delighted to be among you.
Thank you so much for coming. So, first of all, would you like to introduce yourself for our listeners who don't know you?
Yeah, sure. Well, I am Fadwa al-Mu'addin. I am 28 years old. I'm a grad student. This is my first year in degree in cultural studies. It's a new master in the University of Letters and Humanities in Oujda. And well, I study English and I love English.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions for you, which I am sure all the students and the faculty want to know about you. So first of all, could you talk a little bit? I heard that you dropped out of school before going back and studying at the university. Is that true, first of all?
Yes, but I'm not going to call it dropping out of school because I wasn't inactive in those years. I was also productive. So
so could you just talk about it?
Yes, I'm gonna put you in the picture so you can get what I'm talking about. Well, I was just a normal student like anyone here in high school. Well, the problem is that there was a mistake in orientation. I always wanted to be specialized in literary studies, so that was my interest: literature, languages, and then literature. So then I did a huge mistake, and I was young, I was 14 maybe or 15. So instead of following a literary path, I went to be in a scientific path. But it doesn't mean that I don't like science. I like science. I read a lot about science. But I find myself in literature. So I listened to anyone else's opinion, and I didn't follow my heart, what I wanted to do. So when in my final year in high school, I found myself not belonging to the class where I'm studying. So that was really a huge disappointment in myself. And then I just couldn't, when I didn't get my high school degree, a lot of people told me, so it's fine, you can do it another time, you can, just 1 year is not very much. So I said, no, I'm not going to listen to anyone. I'm just going to do what I wanted to do. So I just gave up studying, and I went to study something else. I did 2 years of fashion design. Yes, and also I studied some kind of crafts called porcelain. It is known here by ceramic. I also did some little trainings like the Red Cross training. Also a lot of trainers, I don't even remember the names. And also I studied music. So I just wanted to enjoy myself, because when you fail at something, you just don't want to be again in that situation. So I just went to do things that I really enjoyed. But then in 2013, some of my friends suggested that I continue my academic path. So they encouraged me to retake the exam as a free candidate in literature. So I did, and finally I succeeded, because I got a lot of experience from the past years. And then everything went too fast. When I got my high school degree, then I registered in the Faculty of Humanities, and I studied English. I got my BA, and now I'm a first year in the master. So it was really like a miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a miracle. Also, all this energy that I had, like conserved all this year, I put it in these studies. So I just went like a rocket.
Yes, you did. Believe me. Everyone knows that.
And
Okay.
but why English? Why did you choose English?
Yeah, well, my story with English began when I was a child. Well, I grew up listening to Michael Jackson and the Beatles, Bob Marley, and I was like, Sakina is impressed.
Yeah, I see it.
Nice tricks also. So it was like curiosity in the beginning. I was listening to the music, but at the same time, I was wondering what are they saying in the song. So it was first a curiosity. Then when I began learning English at high school, at the first year in high school, I just fell in love with the language. It's like it became like a hobby. So I did my own efforts. Besides the academic work, I used to come home and I just download the lyrics of my favorite song and I sing along with them and learn new vocabulary, and this is how the relationship with English evolved.
Yeah, I think most of the English students started this way because most of them listened to English songs, and that's how they learned English or watched English movies. So most of the students did the same thing, I think, in my opinion, because I did.
Yes, because hobbies is what makes you motivated in order to learn a certain thing. You have to do something that you like in order to learn another thing.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Yeah.
Okay, so Fadwa, what do you do beside being a student?
Well, beside being a student, I am also a coach of gymnastics. Yeah, I was a gymnast since 2001, and I had enough experience to be teaching, to be coaching and teaching little girls gymnastics.
Great, so it's your own club.
No, this is not my own club. I am just working in the club in which I was practicing. So the coach couldn't find someone else because he knows how much I love this sport and how much I love children, and he just proposed that I help him in the beginning from time to time, and then he said, okay, I just want you to stay here as long as you can, just to teach the little girls the basics of gymnastics.
Great.
Yeah, you know that I will consider your name as the first name I have heard at the university, because when I started learning English at university, my friends they told me about your name, and since that time I started asking myself why she's famous between all English students, and how do you manage to be a successful student and responsible admin? Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you the story behind the group. So, when I was a freshman, when I was in my first year in university, we were like a little bit scared, anxious about university. You know, it's a new world for us. So, one of my friends, which I salute, his name is Abdullah. Yes, he proposed, he suggests that we create a Facebook club, in Facebook group, and we name it English Students Club, just for our class, in order to communicate, to know each other, and at the same time to share lessons, information. So we created the group. And we started by setting some rules for the group. So we didn't want it to be like the other groups on Facebook. It's just for joking and the posts are not really related to the theme of the group, so it's kind of messed up. So we wanted to do something different. So we set some a bunch of rules to be respected, and we respected it. And the members just kept coming in the group, and I think it reached 2,000 members by the end of the year. So also some professors encouraged us to continue, because we could manage the group in an effective way. So you know, it was like a teamwork. It's not only me. Maybe most people know me, but there are other admins too. They are working, even if they don't show up a lot in the group, but they are working too. And professors liked the idea, and some professors told me that they actually rely on the group rather than the university's website. So it was an effective group, and well, I don't know how it got famous in a really short amount of time.
So now it's
17.
It's more than 17,000.
Yeah, it's more than 17,000 members.
Wow.
But not only students of the department, even other students from other departments, and also students who are interested in learning English.
Yeah.
They keep joining the group to benefit from the lessons.
Yeah.
And sometimes we start discussions. Sometimes, so it was very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you get to keep being responsive? Like, you respond to every post, all the posts whenever you can provide help, and at the same time continue studying, continue being a student. How do you get to manage?
Yes, that's one important question. Well, I just consider working in the group as a hobby, really. I take pleasure in helping others. Not only, it didn't start with the group, but it was before the group. As I told you before, I was a member of the Red Cross, and we did a lot of voluntary work, and I really enjoyed every moment spent with the people that we used to help. So giving a hand for me is a great pleasure. It's like, I don't know, like eating ice cream or something like that. Yeah, it's pure pleasure. So when I have time, I go for it. So Fadwa, you have messages, so you have to answer. Don't let people wait. They are in need. So also I can feel them. So I put myself in their place. Maybe one day I will need some help. So this is why I really stick to it, and I don't like to see someone who is in the post in the group and he is asking about something that I know I can't leave him without a response.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you are a great student. Everyone knows that, and you get good marks at the university. So could you advise? So what advice would you give to the students listening to you concerning their studies at the faculty?
Yes. Well, I will focus on one major thing: the basics of English. You have to master the basics. Not to master, but at least to have the minimum of the basics. Because if you don't have the basics, you will be struggling through the years in the university. Because, you know, there are many lessons, many courses that requires you to have at least the minimum basics of the language. So if you are if you are currently studying at the English departments, you have to work on your grammar, your writing, and your speaking.
So do your own efforts. Don't rely on the teachers. Do your own efforts. If you are considering to study in the English department, start from now, working on the basics of the language. Yes. Also, the second advice is one golden advice I'm gonna give to the students, is that they have to work smart rather than working hard. You know, when you ask everyone, what should I do? They tell you, you have to work hard. No, I think that you have to work smart rather than hard. If you work smart, you may not doing a lot of effort, but you may succeed. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so Fadwa, tell us what are your goals for the future, or I mean, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
5 years.
Well, I really don't know, because the future really scares me. Actually, I prefer working on the present. So I'm now doing something that I really like, and well, for me the most important thing is to get my degree. And then I will think about the future. I'm not in a hurry.
Okay. So what is your dream job? What do you want to do in the future? I'm not supposed to talk a lot about the future, but we just want
Yes,
to know your dream.
Well, my dream job, it's I would like to be teaching English around the world.
Around the world, so not
Yes.
just in Morocco.
Yes, that
Okay.
would be the perfect job for me.
Okay. Okay, so what other careers do you think English students can work towards beside English teaching?
Beside English teaching, they can work in translation, for example, for the government or for private corporation or companies or whatever. They can also do book editing, as far as I know, because I don't really know. I know that there are very much opportunities for English students, but I think also they can work for in the embassies.
The American Embassy, or
For example, or any other embassy, because you know English is what circulates in all around the world. You know, even if you work in China, you will be talking in English. If you work in, I don't know, any other country, you will have to talk English. So for me, this is what I know I can do with an English degree.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what about, so can you give any advice to students who are tired of studying and want to give up, to stop studying, since you had the little bit of an experience, even if it wasn't dropping out, or it was great for you, you learned a lot from it, but what do you advise them?
Yes, well, first of all, if you were forced to be in a certain branch, please just stop it. Because you are not going to take any pleasure and you are not going to be productive in this branch. So you are not going to give. So, but if you really love the branch that you are doing, but it's difficult for you, it doesn't matter how much it takes you. Maybe if you want to get a BA in English, maybe it might take you 10 years, maybe. But if you dedicate yourself and go step by step and keep motivating yourself and keep thinking of the good things that pushed you to choose this branch, you will achieve what you are doing, what you want to do.
Okay, so thank you, Fadwa, for your time, and thank you for answering all the questions.
Yeah, thank you too for
giving me this opportunity
It's our pleasure.
to share
believe
my
me.
experience.
Yes, it's our pleasure. And I hope we asked all the questions students have. But if you have any other questions, Fadwa will post this episode on her group, so maybe you can comment. Okay, so now back to you, Casey.
I guess time's up. We really wish you could join us again sometime.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
That would be a lot of fun. So with that being said, goodbye.
So,
Yeah,
bye.
goodbye.
Bye, guys. Thank you, Fadwa. It was great.